Welcome, Star Wars fans. Here we talk about all things Star Wars with rumors, facts, news, and random shenanigans. Get ready and strap into your Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Choke Podcast. Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 56 of the Force Choke Podcast. We are on location at Cosmic Comics here in Corpus. Kostoryz Road, 5230. Sweet Tooth. So that's where we are today. Mm-hmm. Come on by if you're in the area. The
giveaways.
Yeah.
Oh, we have giveaways for the first person walking in the door?
Yeah, customer.
Okay. First customer walking in the door. So you can't just be any person. You have to buy something.
Yes.
Or something.
You can't just come in.
You can't just come in and get free things.
Yeah, and just walk out. No,
no,
I don't
that's
want that
stealing.
Way. Yeah.
Anyway.
So.
Stealing is bad, Sarah.
Stealing is wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway. So.
What if they came in dressed as Darth Vader then?
Well, maybe that'll be the second giveaway. Anybody dressed in a cosplay or Star Wars cosplay or something like that.
And what you win is a big hairy hug from Lewis.
Yes, and it would be
with
hairy.
And without the Chewie costume.
And a Chewbacca's.
Yes. Well, why don't we get right into it? Sarah, thank you for that great intro.
Yes.
And
the great
Goolsby.
Yes.
Thank you for that intro.
Welcome.
First thing on the plate I have for us, guys, is what is your excitement level for Disney Plus, the new streaming service coming November, the beginning of November 12th? November 12th.
I believe it's the 12th.
I thought it was, yeah.
Sarah, what's your excitement level over that? We've talked about this.
We've talked about this
before.
We've been trying to
quite
lean
a
on you
bit.
on this one for a while.
I'm like 75% excited.
Well, I'm going to tell you something that may make you excited. I did some digging, and every person who subscribes to Disney Plus, you're going to have 7 other people that will be able to have access to it.
For now.
For now. So how does that make you feel in regards to your excitement level?
So $7, 7 people?
Plus
Yes.
5% for Sarah, because that means more likelihood of someone giving away their password for her.
Well, because I don't... I've already talked about how cheap I am. But, I mean... Especially right now, right? I'm only working one day, and that's just to pay for life and living.
Yes.
So I already don't pay for the streaming services that I have.
Okay.
But we already talked about. I've already said I'm a moocher. Anyway,
I like Leech better.
so we talked about Disney Plus being bundled in with Hulu.
Yes.
And them just forming their little marriage right there. And I'm a Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime house apartment area. So I think Disney Plus would take over Hulu.
Okay.
Because, I mean, it would already have
Yeah.
So I
Disney
think
owns most of that.
if I do some finagling, I will get Disney Plus in my house.
Oh.
Let's just assume you're going to get someone's password.
Yes.
How excited are you then?
Probably
How excited are you then?
I'd be very excited.
So like
99% excited.
you're not paying for it.
Because there's going to be so much.
Free.
It's free.
Yes. You know,
What's better than food? Free food.
exactly, right?
Or pizza. But
It doesn't matter if it's good or not. It's free.
Well, I have some limits.
Yeah, so,
Tim, what's your excitement level?
yeah. Tim, what's your excitement
Mine?
level?
I think
From
you're
0
doing
to
it, man.
100.
You're
Tim, you know,
contemplating.
I know that you are excited for it. Yeah. I just want to know what your excitement level is, bro. You love Disney. Let's not mince words here, right?
I have
you
to,
love Disney.
Yes, I have to give it to Disney, and they can take my money for $7. Yeah, I think my excitement level is probably at a 99.96.
I'm really curious to see what it would take for him to go up that .004 on that one.
I have something that we're going to talk about here in a minute that may push that number even higher. So don't look at it, Tim. Don't look at it. Just keep going with your thought.
Yeah. Because I saw someone posted that list on Facebook, like all the Disney movies that they're posting.
Dude, like it took me a while just to read through all the freaking titles.
So many.
I'll tell you what, I'm really excited for my excitement level it was already high for it, and then it just creeped up further, and we're in a comic book store right now. I've loved comic book stores since I was a kid. I literally would walk right after school to a comic book store in the neighborhood, and I really enjoyed it. So being in a comic book store, and one of the main title, of course, away from the Star Wars series that are going to be on Disney Plus, is this. And if you guys look over there, what if Silver Surfer possessed the Infinity Gauntlet? What if Kraven the Hunter had killed Spider-Man? What if Jane Foster was Thor? That's the series. That's the series that I'm excited for. The What If series, and you can see them right here in Cosmic Comics. I mean, that one really, really caught my attention. So from there, I'm in agreement with Tim. My excitement went from like an 85 to maybe about a 95, just from seeing that they're gonna have that.
But he's a 99.9996.
Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? How about you, Micah?
I'd give it 100. I would want to give it that 100 because everything you just said. All the content they're gonna have, Star Wars, Marvel, everything that Marvel entails with the MCU.
I think
the continuation with the stories. What's up?
Sports.
They're gonna have ESPN.
They're gonna have ESPN Plus. Well, that's the package. I don't think that's exclusive to Disney Plus, but it is going to be part of that package, that $12.99 package that you have ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. But everything that entails with Disney Plus and its offering, I'm super excited about it. And even then, because really we're going to have kind of this off season, if you will, that we're going to have 3 years without an actual Star Wars film. But we finally get to see, even more, what we would see more than a movie theater, we're going to get to see it at home. Yeah. With The Mandalorian and all the spin-off shows that we're going to be seeing potentially in the future. I do have to ticket, though, from 100 to a 95, only because this whole I'm going to release one episode a week kind of thing.
Okay.
I see this as... Don't get me wrong, the prices are ultra competitive in comparison to any of the other streaming services out there. And that's super enticing for that. But the idea that you have this giant, giant among men really in comparison to the other streaming services, they're going to start this precedent now. We're going backwards. We're going back to cable television shows. We're going to see, okay, I have to tune in every Monday or every Friday or every Saturday. So if they start driving that market, who's to say that the others don't follow in line?
I think Netflix is already following in line.
And that's what I mean. That's why I can't give it a full 100, despite all the wonderful content that will be available, that will soon be available, that will potentially be available in the future with shows that I haven't even mentioned yet.
Netflix spoiled you.
Yes.
Sure, but I mean, isn't that what the societal norm is today? Is instant gratification? I want to binge. I want everything as much as I want until it's bleeding out of my ears. Like
so
we've created
you minus
that.
them 5 because
some people
don't
have,
like that.
Some people have turned to turning down watching a full season of something because they're waiting for it to end before they actually start from episode 1.
Which would make it super interesting to see. Is I think you're gonna get a lot. You're gonna get a lot of subscribers. Day one. As soon as Disney Plus. But what I'm curious is to see the next month, because by that next month, you'll already had 5 or 6 episodes of The Mandalorian out, and see how many people come out in January, because what other shows are they going to launch at that time, and The Mandalorian's fully available. I think that would be an interesting trend to see, is those people that are deciding to actually wait. So they don't have to be like, oh, I have to wait a week. I have to wait a week. I have to wait a week. Rather than just binging it straight on forward.
And I know you had a thought there, Sarah, but I'm gonna.
But don't.
I'm just wanted to make a comment on what Micah said, and I think I was talking to Tim about this. Is that I don't think that's the way it's gonna work. I think it's gonna come out right. One episode will come out, and then it'll be gone, and then you get the next one, and then it'll be gone. And then you get the third one.
You want to make a bet?
And then it'll be... I'm just saying, because that you said it seems like they're going backwards. That would be the way to do it.
Okay, there's a difference between going backwards and doing a complete about face and running in the other direction.
If
you do that, I think that would be really problematic.
This is the new... These are going to be the new cable companies. I think that's what we're witnessing right now.
Well, then fine. I'm dropping my excitement back to an 85.
Oh, no! I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sarah.
Addressing both of y'all. So, for yours, I feel like they're going to lose money doing that because nobody's going to want. cable again.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, even like with the DVR that costed extra, right, or TiVo or whatever that costed extra.
Yes.
But you could still record your thing,
and watch
later and keep it. But if they do that, I mean, speaking for myself, like I'm just gonna get annoyed with it and find it somewhere else where I can watch it all together. Mm-hmm. Because I can't
YouTube or
I can't like working or whatever with school and everything. I can't make that commitment of watching something at the same time every single week. Mm-hmm. But I can watch it later.
And I think to that, what you're saying to that is that they'll probably allow that if you pay $5 extra a month.
Oh God, it's like
that's what I'm.
It's like
I think we're yes. I think
pay an extra $2 to watch the show that's gonna show at 7:30 p.m. and only at 7:30, and that's it. This is like TV.
Yeah.
That,
so
okay, that will not fly. There's no way.
I think we're witnessing bold statement. Once again, I think
Did I destroy your bold statement last time?
No, you didn't, because
it hasn't come yet. Okay.
Yeah. I think we're witnessing the birth of the new cable companies. This is what I think.
Sure.
Bold statement. I just want to throw that out.
No. I get that, but the world is wildly different.
Oh yeah,
now.
Absolutely.
You know, you can't commit to someone. You can't commit to saying that the show is only going to air at 7 p.m. UTC, right? Like that's just not going to work, because how many people is that going to, nullify by them being asleep over in another country, or them, having to wake up too early, or they're still at work or whatever.
Yeah.
Now I will give you a little bit.
Keep going.
Okay, I will give you a little bit. If you are accurate in saying that they're going to release episode 1 and then let it go, depending upon your viewing, I think the only way that could potentially work is if they have episode 1, say, open up for that first week, and they drop out, episode 2 comes, it's available for the whole week, they drop out, and then at the end of the season, then they release everything. Because I remember, I love Saving Private Ryan, I loved Band of Brothers, the miniseries on HBO, and when they had the Pacific, which was the next level of what they were doing with the Band of Brothers, they had, I think, where you could watch HBO free to watch that first episode, and then after that you couldn't even buy it anywhere. Like you had to have an HBO subscription at the time. I don't even think they had HBO Now or HBO Go or anything like that. So I remember I had to pretty much forget about this show until they released it on DVD, I think the next year,
to be able to appreciate it. Yeah.
And because after the first episode, you're like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I will push back a little bit in saying I think if they do that at all, but I think that would be.
We'll see what they do.
I'm not going to say that they won't do that. I won't say that they won't do that in the future, but at the very least, they can't do that much right now.
Okay, Mike, and along those lines, the next question I have for you guys is, and I'm going to skip the next thing, but because this has more to do with what we're talking about here, with Disney Plus seeming like it's a quote-unquote one-stop shop.
It's not one-stop shop. We're Stranger Things. Yeah.
For entertainment.
Let him finish.
Shoot you in the face right now.
Is this the beginning of the end for other streaming platforms?
Nope.
Sarah says no.
Nope.
Nah, I think Amazon still has a chance.
Has a chance.
Yeah.
I think.
Because what do you have to say? What do you have to say?
Well, I agree with her.
You agree with her?
Yeah.
All right.
It's over?
Thank you.
It's done?
In fact, it's going to enhance more of it.
Yes.
It's going to
Yeah, okay.
More people are going to go to Netflix.
Yes. Not only that, there's a lot of apps that you can do right now that stream off like HBO, Showtime, Cinematics, and it's not illegal or anything like that. And you're grabbing it from the airwaves, and everybody's getting these antennas, and there's going to be more streaming. It's already in play.
All right. So
I think the worst case scenario on that is like Amazon buys out Netflix. Kind of like how Disney did that to Hulu.
That would
Because you have two huge companies fighting against each other.
Or
an actual real competition.
to compete against.
Yeah.
Right. And then you're going to also have a couple of small ones out there that they're going to come out and try to compete, but Amazon's going to come in and crush
Oh, yeah.
and take it away.
Yeah. Or buy it.
Or buy it.
Or buy it, right?
Or buy it.
People just buy you out.
That's the intention, is to buy it out.
Yeah.
Because some of these, even if they're like smaller things that may pop up or whatever, or at least even for the context of Netflix, they have some of that original content so great. Like, there's no way you can just expect it to be gone. Period.
Yeah.
I just don't foresee that happening.
All right. So let's refocus. refocus, right? And let's get it back to Star Wars. I wanted to get everybody's, temperature on the excitement around Disney Plus.
Well, now I got a fever. I'm pissed off.
I got a fever.
I got a fever. Neil, prescription.
Official rumor, people. Official rumor. Official rumor time. Okay, so we got The Mandalorian, and we know we got a Cassian Andor. But
Are you forgetting about one that comes out before Cassian?
What's that?
Clone Wars?
Well, the Clone Wars too. Okay,
Judas.
but
What?
original.
You're not excited about that?
Well, yes, but what I'm talking about
Judas.
is
Coming out in February. Yeah, dude.
they announced 3 new series, TV series for the streaming service. The official rumor is that the 3rd series, the new one, is going to be a Han Solo spin-off coming to Disney Plus from the Han Solo universe that they created from the movie that they presented us.
Does the rumor also include the same actors?
I want to say you would be absolutely right, Tim.
Because I've heard a similar rumor about Darth Maul. And I think kind of like what we were talking about, like them going forward with the Han Solo movie, whether it was a direct sequel called Han Solo 2 or whatever, or whether that second one was more focused around, say, Infant's Nest, following that underworld type thing.
Yeah.
That I feel like that's kind of where they're going the direction that they're actually going in, and it's probably going to be more so into a TV series, because even if it doesn't do well, they kind of just can kind of hide it.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus. Having said that,
I don't know why they keep avoiding Ahsoka spinoff.
because I think it's exactly what Trent told us, is that the whole ideology
to Dave Filoni.
But the whole ideology behind it is whatever they created, whatever it was successful for, let's just say the animations aspect, like the cartoon stuff.
Yeah.
Like they want to keep that in that realm. And
Tim,
then
you just bit into a topic that we're going to touch on later in this podcast.
stop reading, but hey,
I'm not reading it. I'm just going off the Han Solo thing.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like,
So
what other
we're going to
spin-offs?
touch a little bit more off.
Because it says
of that.
like, if not that spinoff, what would we like to see? And like,
What would you like to
just
see?
one of them.
I would like an Ahsoka spinoff, but I would like to go forward with Han and Chewie after
See what happened?
the whole Kira thing and
Yes. Ba-doop-ba-doop-ba-doop. Boom,
down
boom,
that
Ba-da-ba-da,
happy little path right there. That path of bromance.
I think Tim, can you sit back a little bit? I can't even see.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
That's cool. Are you okay?
Yeah.
He's
No, I was just
I'm
like
just thinking of
come
like
on, dude.
like a Forrest Whitaker spinoff with his character.
Hold on, what's his name?
I forgot his name.
Sagrera.
Yeah, Saw Gerrera. I'm not good with names.
I thought you said San Antonio. San Antonio. I was like, that's definitely not his name.
Increíble, mano.
Anyway.
But no, I mean, who knows? Maybe Saw Gerrera will show up in the Cassian Andor series. Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't know. I mean,
yeah, but it'll be, I think, one of those background things.
yeah,
Kind of like how we'll probably more than likely have Darth Maul in like the background, like never really, maybe meeting Obi-Wan somehow once, just because of the literature and the lore that they have.
Yeah.
Through Rebels, through everything else.
They made it sound like Cassian's gonna be a lot
But-
like the prequels,
But let me give
like
you all.
very political story.
But
Yeah.
let me give you all an idea real quick here. Since we know that Disney will never allow a rated R title under their name,
They will.
It's
Star Wars related
Star Wars
is what
related.
he's saying.
under the helm.
I think that they can.
Under the helm of the name Disney, they won't. Kind of like that, they're still going to allow Deadpool to go forward, but it's going to be under the name Fox. They own Fox, but it won't be Disney's Fox.
It'll be
It would
yeah.
be under the umbrella of Fox.
Yeah.
So they can release that content without it being stamped Disney on it. Having said that, I think this would be a perfect avenue. That we could finally see something like. Say they did go forward with a Darth Bane kind of thing. Like, that has to be rated R. If they wanted to do it right. And so instead
we
of...
talked about that with Dave Bautista.
Yeah, how do you say
Bautista.
Bautista. But to have an actual content that to do it right would have to be rated R. I think this would be a good beginning. Because, again, I don't think they're going to do that in a movie to the point where they're going to lose a lot of money and a lot of, I don't want to say funny, but a lot of money from kids that can watch it, even if there's still a lot of kids that are watching as PG-13.
Yeah.
That won't happen in a rated R film.
True.
So if they went as far as the series is concerned, where it's just kind of like a lot of people be like, oh my god, that's so dark, that's so Sith or whatever.
Yeah.
That actually may turn off people alone. But if you're like, no, this is full on Sith, this is rated R, we're actually getting to see stuff. I think this would be the perfect avenue for having it on a streaming service.
What they're doing with the DC movies.
Yeah.
Right. So they haven't really gone into like that rated R until the Joker, like this Joker movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
Is not going to be the Joker that we see in Batman, but it's going to be a Joker, and it is rated R. And so I think when you watch the movie, it's going to start off with, you know, when it shows the production of like who made the movie, which is supposed to be DC, but DC is going to give it a different label. Like you said, like Disney's going to have to give it something else, you know, like Fox or something like stamped on there. That's who's making the movie, but it's still under Disney to make it rated R. That's what DC is doing. You're gonna go watch this R-rated DC movie, but it's gonna show. When the movie begins, it's going to be dark something. Yeah. And that's DC's work. And that's how you're going to... I feel like that's what Disney's going to do with it.
But I feel like this is a little bit different only because even the first Batman or the first, you know, Joker or the first whatever with their comics, it's kind of been dark in nature in comparison to, say, Marvel already. But let's just say that it's dark in nature. Disney can't go that far because it started out with... you know, talking deer, you know, talking animals. Like, it doesn't have that notion of starting out with the guy beating someone to a pulp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, before killing him.
I don't know. The early Mickey cartoons are pretty dark too, man.
Okay, no. It is super dark, but that was no. They have cartoons like talking about like it's okay to. Like, I'm serious. I've seen videos.
Where
It's okay to give people thumbs up?
No, it's okay to...
Drag fingers across people's throats?
I know this is kind of more conspiratorial, but I've seen some of the videos, like almost subliminal things, like when the cartoon got released in, like, what is it, the 40s and stuff, that if you're not feeling at place in the world, if you're not feeling okay...
Oh, Jesus.
Because they have many things where it talks about, you know, like, Mickey pulling out, like, a shotgun and stuff.
That's
really super dark stuff, so I will give you that one, Tim. I have to concede that point. But
back then, it was not dark.
It wasn't.
It's like, hey, you got a problem? Let's fix it.
Yeah.
Well, they made it look like it wasn't dark, like with their animation style.
Well, I was just talking about like some of the content. If you really,
made it
you know how
like
there's those kind of adult messages in like modern day Disney films, where only the adults, if you will, for the most part, will get it. They had that back then. But really, really dark stuff.
I mean, strapping a nuke to a coyote and then just splatting on the road, that's pretty dark.
That is. But that's Warner Brothers.
That is Warner Brothers.
All right, Sarah, help us out here.
A comment on our live video from Star Wars _Savage. If they do a Darth Bane movies... Wow, hang on, sorry. It won't be an exact adaptation of the novels, so it wouldn't need to be rated R. It would be their own iteration that fits into canon.
Okay.
I agree. I like that.
They're gonna finagle it into a way to be.
I like that, and of course, it doesn't have to be the exact thing because essentially everything that wasn't movie they nullified and called it Legends, and they've been picking from Legends and bringing it back into the canon universe. But still, I think there are some fundamental things that you can't skirt on to bring back without being a complete different representation of the character, which might as well be a different character on itself. Yeah. Kind of like what you've said, like there's no way that they could do a Kraven for Spider-Man, which is how gory it gets in the Spider-Man stuff, or how like Ultron, just like it was like a super PG version. Yeah. You know, in Age of Ultron, Avengers 2, you know, for what they should be. If you fundamentally change so many things about a given character, it no longer becomes a character, so like there's no point in doing it. So I understand the comment, and I'll agree to it within a certain extent. And of course, we appreciate the comment. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, we're open to all comments.
But I feel like there's those fundamental things. If you change that about the character, then it's not the same character. Then you might as well not even do that character. You might as well make some other, you know, Disney water diluted character that doesn't have to be dark.
Do you think that they are okay with turning off fans, let's say of Darth Bane, right? Because that was from the comment. If they were, because there's going to be fans that come in that have no idea who Darth Bane is, and if they do this new Darth Bane, new new version of Darth Bane. Those people love it. They're willing to take that chance that these newcomers to the Star Wars universe see it, love it. They love this Darth Bane. Okay, the ones that are like, did like Darth Bane, but they really didn't like the way this version of the character. But they'll come around to it, liking it. I think they would take that chance. Yeah. That's my opinion. And I think that's what they did with Ultron. That's what they did with Thanos. That's what they did with some of the other characters. And these movies are making billions and billions of dollars. People beloved these characters. You know what I mean? And for the most part, I've had this conversation with you. Yeah. Those are not the characters that I know. But I still enjoyed it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I get that, and that's why I simply brought up the premise of if they ever chose to dip into the deep end with that, that's a potential miniseries. Like a one-off for Disney Plus as a TV show would be their place to do it. Because again, you talk about the billions of dollars they're getting from these movies. That's to go to the theater. You know what I mean? Yeah. And in that case, they won't chance that. But if they were going to invest their time into a potential TV series, I think that could be really. It wouldn't be as much as a money hurt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that you could potentially, reel some of these fans back in.
Let's see, Darth Bane can easily be
told in a PG-13 setting.
Okay, so
but that's no fun.
Tim, Micah, they want R.
Even Tim's like, oh.
Given how dark Revenge of the Sith was, and the elements that are in the Darth Bane series of books, it's more than possible to adapt it on screen without sacrificing what made Darth Bane who he is.
Wow. Well,
guess we'll have to see.
We'll have to wait and see, right? Let's see if they even do something like that.
Let's hope that they even bring that story.
Yeah, they have the writers who can do it. They can do it.
I think so.
But that's also, too, thinking they're really pushing the envelope for what some of these settings are.
The real challenge would be rated G Bane.
Well, kind of.
Well, no, that's true because, we've talked about
it's a teddy bear just taking out the stuffing.
These other things. What was it? The Forces of
Destiny.
Oh God!
I think that is more challenging than these other things.
Well, that's why
and
that's why it was a total flop.
To make it,
Well, it was just for fun on the.
It was cute.
Yeah.
It was cute for the target audience.
Yeah.
But
I think they were trying to get.
If they want to make a lot of money, that's the right topic.
Trying to get the kids into Star Wars because they would air it at the time, like where there was kids shows, and then they would air that, and they would try to get their interest and get these kids to be involved in, I guess as they're growing older, coming of age to get into the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, it's a doorway.
Kind of their way in
to come into it. Yeah.
Like, who are these characters?
To get them familiar with who everybody is.
But again, to acknowledge that, then where is that gateway for the next level up from what we have now?
Here's the gateway, and I'm going to share this with you. We're going to skip this next one. We'll come back to it.
Go into the light.
Yes. And this is also this also references.
They're looking at the light.
Poltergeist.
I'm thinking of it too. Stupid. I just saw that. That's why.
No, that was Deadlights. But they never said anything.
They didn't cover that.
Yeah, they did. They did in the second one, not the first one. Anyway, let's talk about Star Wars.
But they didn't go deep into it.
They said that it was his life source.
Yeah, into the universe.
They didn't talk about that in the first one. The second one, they
didn't talk about the turtle.
What?
That's where it came from.
A turtle?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one. So
that's what
I'm talking.
Lewis.
Well,
okay. No,
I'll tell you the story later.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna actually reflect back on something that Tim mentioned earlier, and also Micah. All right, so what Tim mentioned was that, hey, Ahsoka, where is she going to be popping up? Where is she not going to be popping up? I've been away from the podcast for 3 podcasts, and just from things that popped up. My wife and I were celebrating our anniversary. Then other things came up.
The excuse, Mark.
I know, right? But I while I was away, right, I did do some interviewing. I know Sarah.
Without me.
Without usually you do that, but I did some interviewing.
Shoot me now.
We will get to that later in the podcast. And some of the cast that I've interviewed was from The Mandalorian, so stay tuned for that. You'll want to hear that, what they have to say about The Mandalorian. But before we do that, Jon Favreau I also spoke to, and he said he's going to leave the door open to characters from other shows and movies to be included in The Mandalorian to begin creating a more shared Star Wars universe. So guys, who do you want to see in The Mandalorian? Now remember, in The Mandalorian, this is after Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. So some of the characters that you would think you would want to see in it cannot be in there because they've already passed on.
How many years is it?
I think it's about
10 years.
No, I think it's about 4 or 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Because I know the Battle of Jakku has already happened in The Mandalorian.
I don't think so.
Because from what I've... Okay, maybe I am wrong, but from my understanding, that's supposed to have already happened because I can't think of the guy's name. He looks like he's kind of the leader of the Stormtroopers in The Mandalorian. The guy who was on Breaking Bad...
that is Moff Gideon. We'll be hearing from him. That is...
okay, fine, sure.
It's Giancarlo Esposito. We will be hearing from him a little bit later in this podcast.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
How many people did you talk to? I was away for a while, Tim, but I still was busy.
Who's your connections, Louis? No, but from what I've seen is that essentially he's like kind of controlling like some last battalion that everything is faulted. Like the very last I guess battle more so if I could be wrong, of the unified empire as it was, even despite Palpatine being dead.
Giancarlo, he will clarify that for you later. Just messing with you.
Go forward.
Just play it, right? No, but from what I'm hearing, it's about 4 or 5 years after Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm.
So wouldn't it make sense that the Battle of Jakku already happened then? That's what I'm saying.
When did it happen?
It was
it shortly after that?
It was it was post Jedi because that's when I think people were kind of finally starting to rise up. Mm-hmm. Like, what empire? Your emperor's dead.
And see, I thought Jakku happened like 10 to 12 years after that. So you're probably right. You're probably right, Micah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh God! Did you hear that tremor?
So shake the camera now.
So speaking of that timeline in The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau is saying, "Hey, you might be seeing characters from other movies, from other TV series. Who would you like to see in The Mandalorian?"
Thrawn is going to be there.
Thrawn.
Live action Thrawn would be sick.
That'd be interesting.
Because who's the real antagonist for The Mandalorian?
I don't think we know, man.
We don't have any. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be like the system itself. Because
the Empire is fallen.
Right?
Total chaos, I guess, is the antagonist.
I think I might have talked about this in the last podcast. I don't know if it's entirely accurate, but I read where, like, as you see, like, his armor, in some shots it looks really clean, his armor, the Mandalorian, and then some shots it looks like raggedy old parts that he just kind of put together. Mm-hmm. And the whole premise is that he's doing these bounties for, I forgot what it's called, you probably know what it is, but the Mandalorian ore to make the Mandalorian armor itself, to do, like, semi-upgrades and stuff, and there's a huge bounty to, I think it's to take a girl, or to take some kind of child, essentially to turn him over, and he finally is like, no, like, why? Like, and so he's like fighting against this whole like bounty hunter guild kind of thing.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
I think they've said that somewhere.
I don't remember seeing that, but if that's so,
that would be
that puts a really good twist on it, because that means that he has a conscience to do the right thing. You know what I mean?
Like an anti-hero.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like, exactly, and I think that's kind of like what we've mentioned in the past. You weren't there, Louis, but it's just kind of like how can a person go forward, like, and supposed to be morally good when there's no real system in place to tell him that this is bad, or that this is good,
or there'll be repercussions
from
your actions.
Repercussions from those actions, in a morally bankrupt, because this is supposed to be like the Old West.
Yeah,
like the whole idea is not this is good or bad, but purely is if I do this, is some other fool going to come up and shoot me because of it? Or is the sheriff going to shoot me and they're just going to shoot the sheriff anyway? You know, but you know what I mean? Like, I just think that would be an interest in the context of it all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Will it be original music or music like that as he's fighting?
It was original. Well, God.
It really changed the tone.
I like the original music that they had in the trailer, though.
Yeah, it was good.
What is that? It sounds like a windpipe kind of.
Is it John Williams again?
I don't think it's John Williams.
No, because episode 9 was his, and he's done.
He's signing off.
Finito.
Yeah. He's done a lot of movies though for Lucasfilm. Who would you want to see, sir?
I don't know.
You're not sure?
My timeline is all messed up. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Jabba.
messing with you.
It's messing
dead.
with you.
Yeah. Well,
Zed's dead.
Tim wants to see Thrawn.
Jabba's dead.
Micah?
I don't know.
I want to see scumbags.
I'll tell you who I want to see.
Go ahead.
Captain Rex. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Is there really going to be a lot left for him? Because didn't they confirm that
He's
was
everywhere.
him on Endor? In a little group, there's
Yes,
a
they did.
balding guy.
They came out and said it was
and there was a white beard, and they
Snow
said
white
that
beard.
was him.
Mm-hmm.
Is there really much left for him?
I mean, if he's in one of these outward lying systems.
You know, they could easily put that. That was,
Yeah, I mean, and it
if it's
doesn't
only
have to.
4 years, post Jedi, then.
I mean, maybe he has a family. Maybe he's making little clone babies. You know what I mean? just as a,
Wow, that's going to
like-
be hard now.
Yeah.
So Nate said he needs to see the best bounty hunter in the biz, Cad Bane, in The Mandalorian.
I think he's dead.
I think he's dead, yeah. Didn't he
think-
die through what they've shown through Clone Wars?
Well, I think they're going to finish him off in this.
Okay, maybe I thought that he got imprisoned or something.
Like what they did with Maul in not Clone Rebels.
Yeah, I think similar to that. Yeah. I could be wrong, but I think that's what's going to happen. But if Cad Bane does make it out of there, that would be a great character to have on there as well. I mean,
I can't think of a specific person I would like to see, but I think of an event I would like to see. Like I said, I thought I read somewhere, I'm not entirely sure if it's accurate or not anymore, but if he did have a bounty to go collect a child and go ship it off to whomever, what if we get to see, which I guess I'm saying I hope to see, this is like the beginning of the First Order, collecting children, collecting
like
infants.
Finn doesn't know who his parents are.
Exactly. This is the beginning. Like maybe this is somehow an offshoot.
I like that
of Palpatine's. Like you had this. Was it what do they call it? Cinder, Operation Cinder, or whatever. And like he still has his. You still have like these offshoots of these operations going on. Like, oh, you think that was it? Like, as crazy as Palpatine is, especially if he think he's going to be coming back, like in a vault or something.
I mean,
but who's to say that this isn't another like an initiative that he had, just in case? Because if that happened, and we'll see with Episode 9. But if we see that potentially he is still alive somewhere, like in a vault, and he believes that he's going to come back. He's going to want to come back to a full-fledged, forces again. Like his reckoning, his revenge will really be lived out. And who's to say that this wasn't the beginning?
I'll tell you what. Everything you're saying makes total sense. Oh God.
Oh wow, that's twice.
Wow.
Twice in like an hour.
The apocalypse begins.
This table is very sturdy. Thank you.
The third will be the apocalypse coming, right? We'll start to hear the trumpets and everything.
The fourth horseman will arrive. No, that makes
horse.
The way you put it together like that, Micah, makes perfect sense. It really does. I think that would be great. That would be a great idea. All right, so
that was a Force Choke original.
Yes, right. So we're gonna get off of Instagram Live just for a little bit.
You gonna reset it?
No, we're good. Because we're going to present. You're gonna have to listen to this part after we process it and edit it. I had an interview with from the Mandalorian, Ming-Na Wen of the Street Fighter movie, Mulan, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., So I touched base with her.
She was in Street Fighter. That's
I touched base with her
Chun-Li,
very
right?
quickly.
I forgot
Yes.
about that.
Right? Yes, I remember.
Yeah, so I got
early
to
90s. Sorry, go ahead.
very, very short, very, very brief. I touched base with her about her involvement with The Mandalorian. And then I also got with Giancarlo Esposito, who's going to be playing...
Esposito.
He's going to be playing Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian. So if you want to hear that, you're going to have to listen to episode 56, because we're going to stop the live streaming from Instagram, but we'll be back right after that, okay? So...
Well done, boss.
Thank you, sir. Y'all keep going.
This is still running. I mean, yeah, like Instagram would probably listen to us if he was a Grand Moff, but he's just a regular Moff.
Grand Moff.
What's it? Was it Governor then Moff, right? Or is it Moff then Governor?
I think the gubernatorial system was different than the Moff system. The
Moff was military?
Yeah, it was military.
Goff was more...
No, the Moff was part of the
Goff. Oh.
Right. The Moff was a rank. Yeah. There's Moff, then Grand Moff, and but let me get this queued up, and
I'm just excited because I'm waiting for Hulk to come down and bash the hell out of you. Hulk's directly behind you. Hulk smash.
Hulk smash.
He was one of my favorite characters all time.
Yeah, one of your favorite characters about to destroy you.
I know, for real. Right over my shoulder. All right, I think I got it.
3, 2, 1, go.
All right, so this was my interview with Ming-Na Wen, right? So here we go. This is what I got from her.
Good.
A little louder for the people in the back seats.
Hold on.
Oh, there we go. Oh, wait. Let me restart. Sorry, guys. I didn't have this on, right? Okay.
Hello, Ming, and thanks for stopping to talk to us real quick with the Force Joke podcast. We were wondering, and I think it's official rumor, unless you tell us otherwise, that you are now going to be part of The Mandalorian. Is that true, or can you give us some insight on that?
I'm so excited and waiting to talk about it. You don't understand. That is a Star Wars geek girl's dream come true.
Oh, that's so awesome, Ming. Thanks for sharing with us. We're so excited for you to be in part of The Mandalorian. Can you tell us, if you're able to, what kind of character are you going to be playing on The Mandalorian?
I certainly don't play a farmer. Let's put it that way.
That is so awesome. Well, thanks for stopping to talk with us, Ming. And we can't wait to see you on The Mandalorian this fall.
All right. So
Great interviewing skills.
thank you, sir.
Okay.
But so she explains that yes, she's going to be in The Mandalorian. It was an official rumor that she was going to be in The Mandalorian. And then that rumor came about because her stint with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which that series is going to end, what was she going to do next? The rumor was she was going to be in The Mandalorian. And so she let us know, yes, this is her geek girl dream come true. She's going to be in a Star Wars, something with Star Wars.
Tim, you okay? You're breathing heavy.
Yes, he is. He loves Ming, right, Tim? You're still thinking of her as Chun-Li, right?
I don't even remember her.
I'm surprised. I saw the word. I didn't recognize it on the script. But when you said, I'm like, wait a minute, she was there.
Mm-hmm. Right. So her most recent, like I said, was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She did a really great job in that. I love that series. I'm still watching it. I'm going to watch it to the end. But what do you guys think of her playing a character in The Mandalorian? And she's saying she's not going to be playing a farmer. And she's
not.
Yeah, so
I think all of her movies shows her skill set of martial arts and stuff. So
Ooh, she's gonna kick some ass.
Mm-hmm.
You think she can be a bounty hunter?
That would be cool.
That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool.
And see, that's the neat thing, and I'll get back to Ming, but it's just I think that's the cool thing is that we're seeing a lot of, I don't want to say A-listers actors, and that's not to discount again actresses like Ming, but you're seeing notable faces. I remember when I saw that first leaked footage and stuff. Bill Burr is in there. It's like, wait, what?
What?
Yes.
In The Mandalorian?
Yes.
No.
Oh,
we might be hearing
seen that.
Disney Plus 105%.
Yeah,
now.
I love Bill Burr.
We might be hearing from Bill Burr
Yes.
in our next podcast.
Yes.
So anyway,
He's already confirmed he's only in there for one episode.
That's the best
Did he?
episode.
Just one.
It's going to be the best
So he
episode.
probably dies.
That's fine.
no, I just think he's probably been here.
No, he said himself he's only in there for one.
Damn it. Well, still, it was pretty neat because I remember when I saw that, because I saw the shaved head. I was like, wait a minute. Or not shaved head, but lost of hair, I guess. Anyway, I was like, oh my god. So
He's got clear hair.
Clear hair. It's
Did he
translucent.
say that?
No.
Because he called himself a ginger.
He was a ginger.
But not anymore.
Not anymore.
Obviously.
Well, I mean,
He still is.
he's
his
still, I'm
toast
sure
ginger.
there's still hair.
So anyway, but it's really neat to see some of these more known names and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
So having
Absolutely.
said that, with Ming, like, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else she's done, to be entirely honest with you, but I mean, I mostly remember her from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and yeah, she was a great character.
Yeah. She was voiceover for Mulan as well. Of course, we didn't see her, but she was a voiceover for the character of Mulan.
You talking about the new one?
No, the
old one.
Yeah, I never watched that movie.
Oh, you didn't? It was a good movie.
It was
good
a
movie.
great movie.
Yeah.
I wrote a... Oh, wait, no, what did I do? I did something with Mulan when I was a kid.
Well,
Halloween.
like you said, there's a lot of stellar actors, actresses, going into the streaming world, you know what I mean? Ming-Na Wen included, right? Also, Giancarlo Esposito that you said was in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
I never got to see Breaking Bad.
I never saw that
Who did he
part.
play?
He I don't know, he played some like antagonist to what's his name?
I'm not really
Walter White?
familiar with the...
Yeah, but what's his
Heisenberg?
name? Heisenberg, there you go. Heisenberg. Well, because I just remember seeing like on a trailer for the season coming up. I think waiting for Walking Dead, and I think he was already on the show for a bit. He's sitting in the hospital, like the thing blows up, and you see the side of his face get all jacked up.
okay.
Like I've seen him in a few
think I
things,
saw
and
that
he's always
trailer.
had really like what I've seen of him. Like you could tell he was definitely a great actor.
Oh.
I haven't really seen too much.
He owns a chain of fried chicken things, but he's also at... what did he do? I haven't seen Breaking Bad in a really long time. He was like a mob guy, I think.
That's one of
But
the
he was
people going
like...
against Walter
He
White.
employed him to make meth in a lab.
Oh, okay. Well,
He was really good. Like, he played the character really well.
now he's going to be in The Mandalorian playing Moff Gideon. And I stopped to talk to Giancarlo Esposito, and so this is what I got from that interview here. Okay.
Oh, Giancarlo, can we steal a moment, sir? Thank you. Can you tell us at the Force Choke podcast who you'll be playing in The Mandalorian?
Well, I tell you, I play Moff Gideon, and if you know about the Moffs and the Grand Moffs, if you follow the Star Wars story.
Well, we follow Star Wars pretty closely, and the Moffs are pretty ruthless. And is that the kind of character you're going to be portraying here in The Mandalorian? Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
I play a guy who was an Imperial, leader before the Empire fell. And so he also, what we don't know when we first meet him is how much knowledge he has. He has knowledge of everything and seems to know everyone's movements. How, why? Big brain, very, very smart. But in this world, in this expanded galaxy, and these new characters that we meet who take us on a new journey in this Star Wars universe, I feel like this particular character has the ability to be a savior, and he also has the ability to be a conqueror.
Oh, well, that sounds like your character might be taking on the whole of the galaxy after the fall of the Empire and Return of the Jedi. Is that what I'm thinking here?
But what do people need? They need to feel safe. They need to feel like they're led by a presence who is thoughtful, who is soulful, who is egoless, who thinks about the planet that we're on. Very applicable to the time we're in.
So true. Well, a lot of people say The Mandalorian harkens back to and feels like the original trilogy. Can you tell us how you feel about the original trilogy in your own words?
And what I loved about the Star Wars trilogy movies were that they gave you an opportunity to dream, to have wonder, and to feel like there was hope. They gave people courage.
Giancarlo, thank you for your time, sir. And we can't wait to see you as Moff Gideon in The Mandalorian.
All right, so hopefully that answers a few questions that you had about that his Moff character in The Mandalorian. So what do you guys think?
He plays a really good bad guy.
Is he a bad guy? Is he going to be a bad guy?
I guess we'll
No.
see.
Yes, but no. That's one of those things is like you have a war or a battle between people is because they both think they're the right person, and that's why I loved what you got out of him in that interview is because the whole thing is that he was part of the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a leader. He was, even as you said, kind of, I don't want to say evil, but definitely a tough kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But again, he feels like this is probably a calling for him to take his leadership experience and apply it.
Yeah.
Apply it to this lawlessness and society as we have it in the context of The Mandalorian. And so probably everything we see him do, whether it's, not as bad or whether it seems cruel in nature, will all be for the benefit of having a modern day society that people, as you said, people can feel safe.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoy hearing that from him because again, like a lot of times when you have these wars or these going back and forth, they both believe they're doing good and they believe the other side is getting in the way of them doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So to him, he's probably not doing anything bad. He may not be. Point of perspective, as we've talked about before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Tim.
I've never seen this guy. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything. So
Do you watch movies?
So,
do you watch TV?
So from what I asked him and his response to those questions, what do you think, Tim? The kind of character he's portraying in The Mandalorian.
I mean, it sounds like every other, Imperial officer or someone of leadership. They have the same thought. Well, I mean, that too. But like you said, like no egoless, and then he thinks he's doing the right thing for the galaxy. Mm-hmm. As far as giving them a safe planet to live on.
Yeah.
I'll bring
and
peace.
Protecting bringing
justice
peace
to my new empire.
Oh God.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that, like Micah said, you got one side, hey, we want peace, we want harmony, prosperity, and the other side is like, well, yeah, you're doing that, but at what cost? You know what I mean? Your cost of freedom, cost of liberty. Cost of
kind of things that we see in culture today.
Yeah.
Are you willing to give up your liberties for a shred of security?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what's great about Star Wars as well. It touched base on things that are relevant today, and that's why we do this podcast. Is it's very relevant to the times that we live in. You know what I mean?
They'd be like, we'll take their guns in The Mandalorian.
He's like, I don't think so.
Mandalorians, I don't
Come and get them.
But
come take it.
It's exciting. Hearing from these stars that are going to be in The Mandalorian. Like I said, I was out for a couple of the podcasts. We're going to get back on track to our journey to The Mandalorian, touching base with more of the actors and actresses that are going to be having roles in The Mandalorian. Today we spoke with Ming-Na Wen, and we spoke with Giancarlo Esposito. Next time, I think we're going to be talking. You'll hear us talk to Bill Burr.
Like, you promised us Bill Burr, dude.
And we will have another special person that we'll talk to.
Taika Waititi.
Yes. It may be Taika Waititi. We'll see. Very exciting on our journey to The Mandalorian. In a couple of podcasts, we're going to have Dominic Pace as well call into the show so we can ask him direct questions here on the show. So that is going to be very exciting for us as well.
Oh, yeah.
So let's move forward. We want to thank Ming-Na Wen and Giancarlo Esposito for giving us some time there. Next question is going to be near and dear to, I believe, all of our hearts. Guys, we've been talking a lot about The Mandalorian, but we also have the rise of Skywalker right around the corner. And I want you to be as honest as possible. What are you more excited for? The Mandalorian or The Rise of Skywalker?
My excitement level is the same for both. There isn't one above the other.
Tim.
Wow, that was a real great political answer.
Okay, Tim, I'm going to pose it this way. You could only watch one.
Uh-oh.
Which one would you pick?
None if I can't do it.
You're not watching it.
I got comments.
We'll probably watch the movie just to finish the entire Skywalker story.
Okay. So you're more excited for it.
It's like I can't do without it being finished yet.
Yeah. Yeah, because then we'd be talking about, and you're like, I never got to watch
Why
it.
did they finish Rey's story? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Was episode 8 that bad, Tim?
Oh, God.
It was kind of.
He's like, I don't even need to see episode.
I mean,
9.
it was.
J.J. Abrams coming back. I don't need to see it. It's okay.
That movie's so weird. Like,
no.
it's good and then it's bad.
Yeah.
It's so good and then it's bad in a lot of ways. That movie.
Well, you know, that happens, but, you know, I mean, what can you do? You, Sarah?
J.J. Abrams is going to do it.
He's gonna bring it home?
Yes.
Micah says, in J.J. we trust.
In J.J. we trust.
JJ, we trust.
All right, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well in a little bit. How much do we trust JJ? But that's for a little bit later. Sarah, what are you more excited for?
I'm more excited for the movie.
For the movie?
For the movie. Because it's the closure of such a freaking long story. And a great story. Not to say it's long in a bad way, but it's pretty much all we had of Star Wars. Well, all I had, I guess. I didn't read the books or anything else, but it's the mainstream Star Wars story that we all know, that we make jokes about and quotes and all this stuff, and it ends.
Memes,
all of the memes.
After meme.
All of the comfort movies, movie nights, everything.
Yeah.
And the story's gonna end. So I'm excited for the closure. I'm gonna be sad when it ends.
Yeah.
Yes.
You, Micah?
Me.
Are you torn a little bit?
Yeah, Tim is torn. I'm gonna give you a semi-political answer, like Tim, but then I'm gonna slather you with it, so you're gonna have to
slather.
Yes.
Tim and I were thinking the same thing.
Oh, God.
So here's the thing.
I've slathered things before. I don't know if a podcast is a setting for that.
Anyway, so here's the thing. I am super excited for both of them.
Okay.
But I almost feel like I'm super excited for episode 9, obviously, because we need to see the finale of the story. And in that I think I haven't been paying as much attention to that because I do have this distraction, and what the Mandalorian is, not that it's only a distraction, but to come to terms with, of course, eventually they'll come back to movies, Star Wars movies and everything, but it's like that's gonna be the end of Kylo Ren, Rey, Anakin, Luke. All these, Leia, like all these phenomenal characters that have been very much part of my childhood. Yes. Including, I think, everyone here. And I don't know if I've really brought that in yet. But having said that, I would almost tinker a little bit to say that I'm more excited about The Mandalorian. Because it comes out sooner. It's kind of like I can watch this. I can watch this first, and then it's like, okay, Rise of Skywalker, you know what I mean? It's like I can divert my attention to it at that point. It is a semi-distraction, but also, too, is because I think The Mandalorian, if they really nail this one, if they really knock this out of the park, then we will see not just a continuance of this show, but actual Star Wars shows just continuing, going into the future on Disney Plus as this platform. So the potential of what we see with The Mandalorian, if they really do just knock this out of the park, I'm super excited, again, not just for that show, but what we could see moving forward. We already know we're going to have a bit of a hiatus with the movies. So, again, like I said, it was partly a political answer, and I was smothered you. Is that okay? Can I choke you out on the show, Tim?
Smother is kind of bad.
God.
Smother, slather, choke.
Oh, man. As a Sith? What do you expect?
Exactly. That and then... FBI is probably listening to this. He's a nutbag.
I'm curious, if it does do that well, do you think we could see a spin-off movie from it? like after its conclusion?
Only in Disney Plus. I don't think they could make it
at
like
the theater.
Yeah.
For the streaming service, a one-shot movie.
Yeah. Just like a Disney Channel movie, because it's a Disney Channel show. It's like Even Stevens movie.
Okay.
It's going to be on the streaming service.
Okay, and let me ask you, what wildly long-going, successful TV show have we seen where they've put out a movie just because the TV show did so well, and then some years later they decided to do a movie?
Sex and the City.
I definitely not touching that one.
They did 3?
They did 2.
They did 3.
But what
They did 3.
But what I'm saying is,
Sex and the City movies?
Yeah.
There's 3. Believe me, I watched
There's
them.
3.
What?
Yeah.
he has a
Oh
wife.
my God.
He has a wife, you know. So okay, I haven't seen Sex and the City, so I can't say yes or no to that. But
You're
I'm
right.
saying
The
outside
percentage
of
is
that,
very low.
I would just, X-Files. It was weren't that good, It's kind of like you probably should have just not have done that.
Yeah.
As hard as that is to say, because I really enjoy X-Files and stuff. But I'm just saying, and also I feel kind of weird about it. It's just, it almost seems like a money grab at that point. You had this really, really successful, potentially long-running TV show,
Just let it lie.
You just want to bring the people back just for indeterminate amount of time, just so you can make more money off that name, knowing that they did such a great job, they closed out the show and everything, and then you're going to reopen that wound to watch a 2-hour film that probably isn't going to be that good, and now
Don't lie to me.
Oh, maybe.
and now if anything that
me
now
feel crazy.
dilutes the show for what you knew it as.
Yeah. We
So-
almost got a movie with Game of Thrones.
See,
Ooh,
It almost
that
happened.
would be great.
See, in that context, the only way that would work is if it was like a battle, like a 2-hour long battle kind of thing. I don't see how.
But on HBO.
If it was exclusive on that, sure, but I'm against the whole idea of having a TV show, then 5 years later, okay, let's come back for a movie. Again, because if you really enjoy the TV show, if it had a really good closure point and you're reopening that, now you're just cheapening the show just to make more money off of a 2-hour film.
Okay. It was just a thought.
No, I know, and that's why I feel so...
You
don't
can
like
see it
those
as cheapening
ideas.
the show, but on another side is you can also see it as them doing a favor for the fans. You want to
Yeah.
see some big budget, big
Like a How I
you
Met
know,
Your Mother movie.
action.
But no.
Deepening the
see it?
lore.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I
Something-
wouldn't see it, but what I'm saying is I think that cheapens the story.
So a feature film for the fans, like they're doing it for their fans, not because they're trying to make a quick buck.
And that's why I think
Yeah.
it's different if you have kind of like for Game of Thrones. I think I'll speak for all of us when I say that we're all big Game of Thrones fans. You don't have to cheapen the story by telling a different timeline in that mythology, a prequel, if you will. But if you just do a movie, something where you're getting hour episodes, potentially 10 episode seasons, and now we're just going to give you 2 hours, which would be the equivalent of 2 episodes, just so we can play fan service.
Some
Probably
people,
can be almost-
some people might like that.
Some people, because a lot of
Well,
people
some
are pissed
people
off at
might
the
be
end. So
silly.
what if they did the end that the fans wanted instead of the ending that they got, and they made it a 2-hour?
And then
No,
I think that would be the definition of a money grab.
No, I think that, one of the reasons that I brought that up was because in anime that happens like all the time.
But I
Right?
think-
This is not anime, and I get it. But Tim can attest to this. They can have a whole series and then have boom, 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 2 or 3 movies after it that just engrosses you into more of what these characters are all about, and sometimes it just like you're like, oh my god, that was amazing. I know more about these characters, and then you can put them to bed.
Fine, let me ask you this: for those movies, and I know you already acknowledge that that's anime and that's not this, but did the story itself was it have a good closure point?
Yes, for me, on the ones that I've seen, stellar. I've watched those over and over and over.
Well, I guess we'll have to get into that later because I just feel like there's too many variables. Like I'm just trying to, and of course I'm more biased. I'm thinking about my shows that were favorites and the closing points that they had. And I'm just trying to think of like an example, Game of Thrones, like what you talked about. If you would have a movie to essentially redo kind of the ending, then that's just kind of like, okay, so you're acknowledging that you had a failed series, and your answer is to try to one up it by coming out with a movie. Like, again, even despite with me not agreeing with the end of Game of Thrones, I think if they came out with anything extra to that story, short of it being a new series, like 50 years in the future, I think you're cheapening the ending. Even if I didn't care for the ending, I think you're cheapening what you said was the finale of this show by coming out with something else.
Well, we can all agree to disagree because we all have thought processes on that.
And everyone else
that Sonic movie, man.
Yeah.
Nobody asked for that Sonic movie. Nobody asked for it.
Be.
Yeah.
And here you go.
Here it is.
There's a budget for you to go make.
What is it, that meme? Nobody, and it's blank, and then you see the Sonic
Literally
movie.
nobody.
Yeah.
There's a Sonic movie. Damn it.
You know, and I just want to say hi. We have Consume the Canon, who's going to be our guest later on this year.
From Chicago?
Yes.
Bear down?
Yes.
Yeah. I got my
it's amazing.
Somewhere over here, I think.
He's literally going to try to ingest everything that's Star Wars that's canon. Books, movies.
Like eat it?
He's going to consume it.
Jeez.
I don't know if it's through osmosis
Fiber's your friend,
or ingesting it or actually just...
It sounds like the beginning of a
doing
real
one
hardcore fan. I appreciate
exactly right. Comics, books, I think TV shows, everything. He's going to try to consume everything before the rise of Skywalker. So go to Instagram, follow, Consume the Canon to, just keep up with where he's at with consuming the canon before the rise of Skywalker. Very interesting thought on that. So we can't wait to have him later on our podcast as a special guest. But moving forward,
bear down.
Moving forward, we talked about The Mandalorian. I'm really excited about that. I think I'm more excited about The Rise of Skywalker myself as well. So we got 3 for The Rise of Skywalker, Micah for The Mandalorian. Not that we're taking votes here, but...
taking votes.
If we're taking votes, it would be... I think if we were taking votes, it would be 4 for The Mandalorian and 4 for Return of the Skywalker.
Well, you guys out there, why don't you let us know? What are you more excited for, The Mandalorian or The Rise of Skywalker?
1 out of 4 odds, you jumping out of a plane, a parachute goes off for Mandalorian. I forgot the joke already.
Well, Tim, this isn't a joke. And I'm glad you said that.
That's a Bill Burr joke where he's like, forget it, I'm not jumping.
Oh! What was he talking about?
The marriages, like how
the equality or something, right?
1 out of 4 works out. It's like if my chances of jumping out of a plane is 1 out of 4.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I'm not jumping.
So, speaking of odds, we got The Rise of Skywalker coming up really quickly. So, I'm going to ask you guys, what are better odds in The Rise of Skywalker? That Leia dies, or that we see Anakin or Vader's Force Ghost?
Force Ghost.
Really?
Micah says Force Ghost.
They didn't shoot Carrie Fisher dying.
Yeah, but they can always imply it.
But I think we've seen with TV shows and movies, unless you see them,
the
like,
they're not
like
really
checking
dead.
out,
bring me the body.
Like they could do it, especially with them like retconning, like the Last Jedi. We saw what happened to Luke, but I don't think they're gonna do this. But they could just as easily be like, no, he was just. He'll be back. He's not dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they could just as easily do that to correct a huge mess up.
Yes.
True. And there were rumors coming out about Hayden Christensen being on set for The Last Jedi, but possibly seeing a Anakin Force Ghost, like we saw the special effects being punched in there at the end, redoing Episode 6 at the very end.
Return of the Jedi.
Like, and then if we heard rumors about it for Episode 8, and it would just make so much sense for Episode 9, I think that's just way more likely.
So do you think, and I'll ask, well, Tim, what do you think? You think we're going to see either later? Excuse me, sir? Sir? We oh, he's already gone. Oh, well.
Wow.
We're going to have our first giveaway because he bought something.
Oh, crap.
But,
oh, okay. Yeah.
So, it looks like that guy's going to buy something over there. Maybe we can grab
And just
him.
real quick, think about it.
We
If they don't kill off Leia, it's like she'll always be alive for us.
True.
Within the context of watching the Star Wars.
guess.
And what would be more poetic for us is to knowing that our Princess Leia General Leia, whatever you want to call her, Leia will be alive still.
Yeah.
And not just in the memories of the movie, but in the context of that storyline.
Yeah.
Like we don't have to see that.
She'll live through it all.
Yeah.
But if you ask the odds of them both happening, look out of there too.
Well,
the odds of Anakin, the Force Ghost, I think is going to happen with Anakin. Comparing to Kylo Ren somehow.
And that's our belief. 9 times out of 10, that parachute is going to open for us.
It might be, yeah. They both get a Force Ghost, like Leia having Luke, and then Kylo Ren having Anakin aside.
That would be neat. Mm-hmm. But again, if that was the case, no. Okay, do you think that's a possibility that we actually? I don't think we'll see a Force Ghost as Darth Vader kind of thing. So I think that kind of goes against the lore for it. Is that Sith aren't supposed to have Force Ghost? I know there's kind of some exception kind of things. But what if we actually saw?
I think Anakin for Kylo
Force
Ren
Ghost
is going to be trying to get Kylo Ren back to.
No, and that's what I was going to say.
Stay away from the Empire. Stay away from.
No, and I agree with you, and that's why I was saying that's why I don't think we would see a Vader Force Ghost per se, but if we actually saw an Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost trying to talk, Kylo Ren out of this madness, I think that would be super awesome to see that, almost see that dual screens, on the screen, but you see dual images, if them just this imagery of them talking or something.
I think that would be...
If that's the case, then does that mean that we get to see some kind of evil presence trying to manipulate Rey further?
I think that would be Palpatine.
Redemption of Kylo Ren, while we finally see
the corruption
of Rey and just beating each other senseless with a lightsaber.
Yeah,
on the Death Star.
Well, that's what we've been waiting for, right? Them to have a rematch, pretty much.
That and for Rey to go dark.
Mm-hmm.
What you've been waiting for?
Double-bladed lightsaber.
I could die tomorrow and be happy with that 5-second image that we saw in that trailer. But please don't kill me, guys.
So what do you think, Sarah? You think we'll see... If you were to say, is Leia going to die, or we're going to see Anakin's Force Ghost? What would you say?
I guess we'll see Anakin's Force Ghost.
You don't feel it doesn't sound like you're very confident about that.
Because before you talked, I thought Leia was going to die. And then you talked.
Are you saying I make good points? Oh, that's going to be hard to say.
Ooh.
You got to say it now.
For this point, I would like for Leia not to die and forever be alive in our hearts. Blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's what got...
That's what got me.
Pull out those heartstrings.
Good.
Because, I mean, they say that they kind of allude to that almost in the trailer. No one's ever really gone as it's showing her hugging Leia.
Yeah.
Rey hugging Leia. It's like... you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, physically, if they don't kill her off in this movie, do you think they do?
I like how she's she just dies and no, they're gonna kill her off.
Well, I think they would have to. She'd have to be killed off. I don't think she'll go.
Lando, they can only kill one of the two. I think Lando and Leia stays.
Yeah.
But they only kill one of the two. What do you mean?
I mean, they can't just kill off all the original people.
Well, that's the thing is because
let one of them live.
Leia was supposed to have a really huge presence in this movie before she passed.
Yeah. I hear she still does. With training.
Not as big of a presence, though.
It's a rumor.
So
I don't think they're killing Lando. I think he's going to be there. He's going to be like, oh, sweet L3.
People are going to ask.
Ew.
I think people are going to ask. If she doesn't die in this movie, they're going to be like, well, what happened to her character? They're going to ask for either a book or a comic book or something to show where she's gone.
They're going to want her to die?
How did she die? Because she can't live forever.
Because you didn't want closure for Leia.
Wait. Are you saying people can't live forever now?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Not humans, not in that universe.
Well, this isn't...
Unless they clone
this is
her.
a different galaxy far, far away, son.
Maybe she dies of
like Yoda? She just dies?
Yeah, like that. The way Yoda does, but in more of a happy tone, happy ending, it's over. She's finally, she's exhausted. She's all that hard work, her whole life spent trying to win the galaxy, for everyone. And she goes to sleep, and then just that's it. The next day, we see the funeral happening.
Yeah.
For the context of this question, would you consider that a death in her movie? In this movie, like at the very end, like say everything is finished up, and we seeing like her become at peace, and she becomes one with the Force, like Yoda and stuff. Would you consider that a death?
Yeah, of course.
Her physical body is no longer there. That's technically dying.
Well, if she's still alive as the Force, even as a Force ghost, since y'all really think that she has all these abilities,
she would be physically dead. Doesn't mean that
that's
she
not
would
what it
be
says
gone.
in the question, though. You says die. It doesn't say physically die. Alive, no longer alive without
If she hasn't trained
human form
to be able to do that, then yeah, she would be dead. I don't know.
I don't think you know what you're talking about.
I don't know if she's trained to do that or not. Right?
You say,
But
I don't think she knows
Rick-
if she's trained to die or not.
Do
Is that what you said?
or not.
I can't die. No. I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. Just like
I don't know
how I Met Your Mother.
She might.
Oh, I'm dead.
She might be scared.
5 minutes later.
She might be scared of dying too. You never know, right? But I don't know if you guys are afraid. You guys are scared.
Of dying?
No.
Oh, of her dying.
I want to know: are you cheering for J.J. Abrams, literally saying, "F it" to the over-to-the-top attitude he took for the rise of Skywalker?
Actually, yeah.
You're scared?
No, I
No,
like that
you said-
attitude.
Are you cheering?
Oh, cheering. Okay. Well, you had two.
Yeah.
I'm cheering
I like that attitude.
because if Episode 8 was a success, and for whatever reason he's still coming back to do 9, I feel like they brought him back in to do 9 to make sure that this is a good film.
Fix it.
But
Make it right.
to fix it, yeah. Well, to fix it. But I feel like if Episode 8 was still good, like they wouldn't have given him, even if he came back with Episode 8 still being good, I don't think they probably would have given him this allowance to make this earth-shattering, face-melting decision of what's going to happen. I don't think they give that to him had Episode 8 not, kind of come off the tracks.
Yeah.
So I'm cheering it.
Tim, are you cheering?
Yeah.
Or are you scared?
Oh yeah. No, I'm all for that.
You're all for it. Sarah?
In JJ we trust.
Nice. I'm a little scared.
JJ, we trust.
I'm a little scared because
You don't trust JJ?
I want to, but does it feel right that 3PO has a crossbow blaster and red eyes? Does that feel right? We have to see what happens there.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that even 3PO?
What
Is it an imposter droid? What's going on there? But that has me a little scared because we're not used to seeing protocol droids with blasters.
We're not used to seeing it, but it does
Right.
happen, and there is Legends material on it.
Yes.
And second to that, isn't that
And he gets an update at the Death Star.
isn't that you hanging your hat a lot on stuff in a trailer that we know sometimes may not even be in the regular film?
Absolutely.
You know, the
You're
theatrical
absolutely
of the
right.
film, and also that we know that they willingly have a campaign of disinformation and misinformation as far as to keep the purity of the movie until you see it in the theaters.
I even
Didn't they change it? They did that with one of them.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Rogue
Yeah.
One was
Well,
bad.
she's about to
change, big change.
The TIE fighter was going to shoot her off that platform.
Yeah, and it was
like
not
it just
even there.
wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly. And
It's like, wasn't there
that
supposed to be something right here?
that goes to say too. I've heard as well that. And tell us how we're doing on time, Micah.
It still turned out pretty good though. That with the
147.
Okay, so also
What time?
with the picture
No, we're going.
2,
Not two.
right?
Better?
Yeah. With the picture that we have of the Rise of Skywalker, where Rey has her blade up and Kylo Ren, and it looks like they're gonna fight. The way that they're standing, I've heard
This is
from
the poster
some
you
people.
said?
Yeah.
The
I don't think
one
it's
where it has
supposed.
like Palpatine.
No. It's I think it was from Vanity Fair. One of those pictures.
Oh, okay.
Where,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was like a spread.
Yes.
Okay.
And somebody has mentioned that it looks like something or somebody has been taken out of that photo. The way that they were standing.
You're trying to put.
Yeah.
What's in the middle here?
You know what I mean? So
that
yeah.
would suck if they did that.
Speaking of disinformation and removing and adding things to, so I'm just a little bit afraid that the F it attitude could take it too far. You know what I mean? But I'm still excited to see what they put together. You know what I mean?
That's an inherent risk, but I think the F it attitude will be to do something that they wouldn't have normally done, but something necessary. But I think I I trust him enough to know that, like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but I know, like, you can't just take that and just completely fly off the rails with that.
Well, I'll tell you something.
Oh my God!
We got
Pointing
1, 2, 3 people here at this table that are cheering for J.J. Abrams. Hey, take that effort attitude and go and run with it. I'll tell you what, and I'm going to tell you this, that Tim brought this one up, so I'm going to give credit to Tim. Official rumor, Disney executives are not satisfied with any of the 7 versions of The Rise of Skywalker that they've been presented with. But is this actually a good thing?
They like The Last Jedi. They okayed The Last Jedi.
I think this is a great thing. We talked about Disney not wanting to go forward with a rated R film because of what they have and everything. But I think too is, yes, their idea, what they want to put out, the imagery is confined in this notion that it has to be this certain way, and I think that kind of can hinder a story. And I mean, kind of like what Sarah said, like they were probably happy with what they thought got released for Episode 8. We saw what happened with that. So I'm actually a little bit more enthused about this. Knowing that JJ said F it, they allowed him to go forward with it, but they still don't like it. Probably what that means is that they don't like it because of maybe it'll, tarnish, I'm going to say tarnish the image, but it's not something that they would normally like. But they realize that this has to be done to bring it home. I'm a little more excited about it now.
Yeah.
Because these fools and $5,000 suits. No, we want this. No, you don't. You really don't.
Well, the guys that are wearing $3 suits, they want this.
Man, I don't know.
You don't know, Tim?
Well, I'm just thinking of like big time.
Tell me about it, because
I'm just thinking about big time investors like that have money in this, like sitting there in the room. And I know you're talking about guys in suits wanting it a certain way. I'm sure they have like their what do you call it? Clients that are with them that are big Star Wars fans, probably bigger than we think, and that are helping them with like judge how the movie should turn out, or these 7 versions of movies turn out. And I mean, this could be also on not just people in suits, but people who know a lot about Star Wars.
Well, how about this? The context of this. They're not satisfied with it, but they're allowing it to go forward. They wouldn't allow something to go forward if they thought it was really going to be detrimental to the money that they're making from it.
Well, it's hard to it's hard to get closure on the last film, like to be satisfied with the last film and get closure because of what happened in 8. So to make something good off of that, it's like JJ's trying to.
But I don't think those are synonymous.
I think to make it good to them, to Disney execs, like he'd have to go forward with what happened on 8 and just go with that storyline, and he's trying to bring it back to who race lineage parents, like I'm in 8 we got the the family was their nobodies, which is probably a lie, but JJ wants more real substance to her, and again, to finish it, to close it out.
Look at the motives behind this though. You have the motives of these executives that sure they would probably want a good movie, but more so they care about people rewatching it, people buying the merchandising, people buying the movie itself. They care about the money aspect of this. While JJ cares about producing a good film because his name is on it, and he's also a fan. I want to trust a guy who, like, just as easily, because just like what we've done with Episode 8, we don't say Disney made a bad choice. We said Rian Johnson screwed it up. If this is a flop, we're going to say JJ screwed this up. We're not going to say Disney didn't allow this or didn't do that. we're going to point the finger at JJ Abrams and potentially Kathleen Kennedy. So again, I'm trusting the guy who his name is on the line, and he's doing what he thinks is necessary to say F it, metaphorically and literally in this case, to produce something that has to be done right for what we have left.
So then I want to ask you guys one more question, because I know we're almost at time to wrap up, right?
It's a wrap.
I'll ask Sarah first. Sarah, let's say you're an investor for Disney, right? Backing the Rise of Skywalker. You've seen 6 versions of the Rise of Skywalker from beginning to end, the theatrical version, and you're like, no. And you get to the 7th one, and you're okay, let's watch this version. And then you're like,
no.
No. And then they say, well, we're going with number 3.
Okay.
Would you be okay with that?
If I said no, I don't know.
Wait.
I
What's the question?
If I was an investor or whoever these people are that are watching the 7 versions of what's attempting to be put out, and I say no to all of them, and they're like, okay, we're going with number 3, or whatever one that I said no to.
Choose.
I thought, okay, I did hear all that. I thought I was missing something.
Yeah. Just curious.
I'll let her answer that. Let her put on the dark.
God. I don't know, because I'm thinking about it from, like, their perspective. Yeah, they have money in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, going back to Tim's thing, are they actually fans, or are they just in it for the money? Do they want something that people are just going to eat up?
Mm-hmm.
Or they want something that, like...
I'm
that
saying
actually...
you personally.
I don't know.
But to ask you real quick, Sarah,
yeah.
don't you think that's possibly different? There's a difference between seeing something that everyone will eat up and what you think is
there's
a fan.
A significant difference.
I just want to make sure that we're not saying that these are synonymous.
That's what I'm wondering where their intentions are. Do they want something that's going to make a lot of money, or are they going to want something that ends the story right?
Yeah.
You know? And being that person, I would be annoyed if somebody said something against what I thought. I mean, because, that's just human nature, right?
Yeah. I got money in here, man.
Yeah, like, but...
it's also business decisions, too. You don't get, like, you would want this, but you think it goes a different direction. But in the end, as long as you make your money, you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It depends on your personal perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, as an investor, could you just...
I don't know.
As an investor, do you think that you can just put enough money in there and be like, okay, y'all put that, I'm glad you made money for me, but you can have the 3rd version back?
Yeah. So I'll tell you, I know you guys invest. How would you feel as an investor, them saying, well, sorry, we're going with number 3? Let's say you like version 2. And you're like, well, that's the one that I want in theaters, right? And you and Mike are both saying, yeah, number 2. Number 2 is the one that should go. And JJ's like, well, we're doing number 3.
If I would probably, as an investor, tell myself, you know what, this isn't, if that's your decision, it's their decision, but, like, for me, it's not going to work. I don't think it's going to work. Mm-hmm. So the movie may not do as well. May make $850 million, which is...
Whatever.
Sounds good, but in a Star Wars world, probably a flop. Mm-hmm. And me seeing that ahead, I would probably pull my whatever money I had for these guys invested in Disney.
The future.
Just sell it, get my money back somehow.
Mm-hmm. Is it my time?
Yes.
I can't speak on behalf of being an investor for Disney. I think our investments in the crypto and then something like this is entirely different.
Yes, it is.
With the respect of saying that. I feel like something like this is hard because you do have the original investors that were there for the intent, seeing that they know going forward that this is going to make them a lot of money. Mm-hmm. But then I'm sure you have probably even newer investors now. They're investors, but they're also extreme fans of it.
Yeah.
So I know, like me personally, even if I was, I don't want to say that illusion. If I was heavily invested in Disney, I'm probably already, rich. Now, of course, you want to get richer, fine. Of course. But I wouldn't mind taking a cut, knowing that as a fan, this was the better thing to go forward with, even if it's not going to make me as much money. The only thing I can make an example to is, I know it's not exactly Star Wars, but football. Le'Veon Bell. He took the money, and he went to New York, right? Knowing that it was probably going to still be a crap team, and then nothing was going to go forward with that.
Yeah.
But if he decided to take 15% reduction, 20% reduction, go on a team that was very competitive, and now adding him, they could potentially, he would get maybe a 20% reduction, but now has a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
How greedy do you want to be? And I think in this case, for Star Wars, investors are not. I'm going to err on the side of caution that investors are in there for the money, so they're going to want what makes the most money. But I think for something like this, especially knowing that this is the end of the story, you got to do what's right.
Yeah.
And if you do what's right, something tells me the money's coming regardless.
Speaking of money coming, how many times are you guys planning to watch The Rise of Skywalker opening
A
weekend?
lot. I already told you I'm buying our tickets at Thursday night. I'll probably buy a ticket for Friday and Saturday night, maybe Sunday. Like, okay, you have the Thursday, and then you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 days. I'll probably buy tickets for at least one of those days, if not two.
What if you hate it and you can't get your money back?
You can sell that ticket.
But us as being fans,
but
even if we don't
you need to
like
watch it
We
twice.
can critically
Yes.
I
go
needed
back
to watch Rogue One like 3 times.
Yeah.
I fell asleep.
So I fell asleep. I almost
I fell asleep during Rogue One because there was that slow part and I was
Yeah.
really tired. And
I
then I
almost
tried
fell
watching
asleep.
it
Tim fell asleep
again.
to the rain.
Man, that rain scene.
We're real fans
It's like
here,
a white
guys.
noise machine.
Yeah,
You're
that
just
white
like-
noise is killing me.
But at least twice. At least twice during
I mean,
the
yeah,
weekend.
like even if you don't like it, like
You gotta give it another chance.
you almost kind of like why? Why do they
Why
go
didn't
that
I watch
direction?
it? Yeah.
I have to. This probably is going to be just short of a 3-hour movie, if not 3 hours, like Avengers of Endgame.
Yeah.
Like you're probably going to have to watch it a second at a time to
Take everything
How many
in.
times did you have to watch The Force Awakens before you realize, oh wow, that was Yoda talking in the background. Oh, that was Sir Alec Guinness's
I had to
Obi-Wan
watch-
and Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan in the Force Vision scene.
I had to watch a movie, Tropic Thunder, 15 times
Oh my god.
before I began to appreciate it.
Are you
Oh
serious?
my god.
As much as you appreciate the movie now, I
messing
was
with you.
like, are you kidding?
And then that 15th time, I was like,
You know what?
This is a
actually
great movie.
Start quoting everything.
My dad was
Jesus
kind of like
Christ.
that. He made a big deal about it. Like, I started it, and he thought I was just making fun of Vietnam vets, and he was super pissed.
yeah.
And I was like, that's not, no, Dad.
No, yeah.
And then, like, a month later, he goes, oh, I finally watched that movie, son. God damn, it was hilarious. I was like, are you kidding me? But it took that, at least for him, is that you could have that initial thought,
Disliking
experience,
of it, yeah.
response to it,
Yeah.
and be so turned off to it, but then just revisit it in a different light and
Yeah.
be like, oh, okay. You know what I mean?
Yes. So, you're going to watch it 4 times at least? Tim? He'll watch it the once.
Okay, I watched episode 7 times in the theater.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So the investors, they loved you.
The Last Jedi, I think I only saw it twice in the theater. You know, I can't even remember going back for a second. No, I had to go. I had to have gone back for a second one.
And Sarah says probably twice. I'll
Twice.
Probably go
That's big for her, though.
once,
Twice
maybe.
to get the shock and awe out of the way. And then
Yeah. And then
again.
the next time to actually just sit and watch and
Soak it.
absorb.
Yeah, like that
Yeah.
first one is just nothing but appreciation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Hopefully,
like, what happened here?
JJ knows about the choreography and 8 fixes it.
I think he will. I think he will.
I'm pretty sure he was when he was watching, he was
cringing the whole
taking
time.
notes the whole time.
Well, what time we hitting now?
2:01.
2:01. Well,
Not bad.
it's a wrap. It's time for a wrap.
It's a wrap. It's a
Yeah.
wrap.
Oh yeah, I'm
Who's up
hungry.
Who's got the wrap?
Sarah?
I'll do the rap.
You'll do the rap. Just make
Wait,
sure.
wait,
Not
Hold on a
a
second.
rap.
Who did the opening?
I did the
Sarah did open.
That means
Opening.
you're doing the closing, Lewis. Since
I'll do the closing. That's
Okay.
fine.
No,
If
it's fine.
anybody
Do
wants
the
But you
closing.
are going to do it, is what I'm telling you.
Oh, geez.
I mean, you got a couple you got to make up for.
Are you gonna smother him next? Slather him?
Both.
and choking.
Will
Then
you?
choke him?
Will you?
Oh my God.
Will you slather me
You're the one who
first?
said all
You
that.
can do the other 2 in any order you want.
Now that's interesting. I'm just going to kill you.
Okay, so this was episode 56 of the Force Choke podcast here from Cosmic Comics. Micah, address?
5230 Kostoryz Suite 2.
Corpus Christi,
Not
Texas.
Sweet Tooth.
Sweet
Yeah,
tooth.
Sweet 2. Corpus
Sweet
Christi, Texas.
corn.
We appreciate them letting us have the time here in their comic book shop. It's a really great shop. Right now, they have everything 50% off if you're watching from Instagram. They also have their
Dude, look at the Punisher
back
shirt.
stock
Punisher
on
shirt's
comics.
awesome.
Everything that's $5 or below, you're actually going to pay only $1.
What are you looking at?
Come out to Cosmic Comics. They're really friendly.
that's pretty badass.
They've been very kind to us here. Once again, thank you for watching episode 56 of the Force Choke podcast. Down at the very end, we got.
Micah?
Then next to him is.
Tim?
Then we got.
Sarah.
And you got myself, Lewis. Thank you for watching the Force Choke podcast. Make sure that you subscribe, share,
Like, comment.
follow, like, comment, on all our
everything.
Social media.
Do it on everything.
We got social medias all over the place.
If we're not on it, still do it.
Yeah, just look for the Force Choke Podcast. And if you want to make a fake Force Choke podcast, you can do that too. Don't do that. Sarah said don't do that. No,
don't do that.
So thank you for watching episode 56. Make sure that you follow Cosmic Comics as well on their Instagram and their Facebook pages, so you can be up to date on all their great sales. They have collectibles, they got shirts, they got comics, they got action figures, they got all kinds of stuff. So make sure you come give them a visit here. We're at Cosmic Comics,
5230 Kostoryz Suite 2.
There you go, Corpus Christi, Texas. All right, guys, thanks. Appreciate you watching.